Hey guys, I made a denim pouch and here's what I did. I cut a 17-inch by 10-inch piece of denim. I cut 2 pieces of the inner fabric at 8.5 inches by 10 inches, adding a 1/4 inch seam allowance to one side of a 10-inch part. I sewed the 2 inner fabric pieces together along the seam, leaving a 4-inch opening. I sewed a zigzag stitch along the edge of both pieces to prevent fraying. Now both pieces should be the same size. I cut the zipper to be the same size as the fabric. I sewed the end about 10 times to make sure the zipper didn't detach. Place the inner fabric right side up, lay the zipper on top of it, and place the denim with the back facing up over it. Align the edge and pin it. Then sew it. If the zipper tab is in the way, with the needle still in the fabric, lift the foot, move the tab past it, put the foot back down, and continue sewing. Open the fabric and fold it over with the right sides facing out. Then sew along the fold by the zipper. Open up the fabric with the right side up. Align and pin the ends of both fabric pieces to the other side of the zipper. Then sew it. Turn the fabric inside out so that the right side of the zipper is showing, and sew along the fold by the zipper. This part was a mistake and you'll see that I corrected it later, so don't do this part. But basically, I turned it inside out, aligned the zipper to the center, and sewed the sides. I marked the corners with a 1.5 inch square that I aligned with the seam. Then I cut them. I tried to turn it inside out, and that's when I realized that it wasn't supposed to look like this, so I used a seam reaper and undid the sides. What I was supposed to do was turn it inside out through the opening. It should look like this, but with the corners still there. I centered the zipper by aligning it to the seam with the opening. I then pinned and sewed the sides. Next, align a 1.5 inch square with the seams and folds of the 4 corners. Then cut them out. Fold and align the edge of a corner part and pin it. Then do this to the other side, and make sure that the seams are going in the same direction. Then align the edges of both corners, remove their pins, and pin them together. Sew it and do this to the other corners. I also sewed a zigzag stitch along the edge. Go through the opening and flip the fabric so that it's facing the right way. You can sew the opening closed with a sewing machine or use a ladder stitch. And here's how it turned out.